uncle. He lives there with 2 dogs I met once. He's my uncle, but last time he visited, they went into her room and I fell asleep on my belly. Sometimes after dinner we watch the TV, but they take up the couch, so... The last time they took up the couch, and I fell asleep and woke up on my belly, but they both were gone in her room, and I think maybe he is my dad's brother, not hers. I don't know my mom's from my dad's. I don't know their siblings and their parents too. I don't know whose is whose, just that I've got uncles and aunties and my grandpas and my one grandma. I don't even know who my grandma had for a husband. They all live out past the mesa, on the square, up on a rock, all of them in different houses. I don't even know which house is theirs. They go in and out of all the houses out there like there are no doors and there are no his house, her house, my house. There aren't enough people to fill the houses anyway. There used to be more. My mom before she had me was there, but not anymore. Now we live in the city and she says I need to know where we come from, so I go up there in the summer. Joe and Rita are my uncle and auntie on the rock. Joe and Rita I thought were each other's husbands and wife, but really they're not. Last summer when Joe took me to town because Mommy told him to take me, he made me go with him into a house in town where a woman was. It was no Rita. He touched her back and she put her hand on his chest and she gave me peaches from a tree and a soda and gave Joe some coffee she reheated in a pot because it was in the hot part of the afternoon and the coffee she made in the morning was cold but had some left, so we sat at her table and she asked me what I liked in school and gave me a feather from the mug she had on a stool in the corner of her kitchen and told me it was from an eagle and to treat it nice. She had a lot of feathers, but she said my feather was rare and would keep me safe or strong. I finished my soda and peaches and Joe took forever to finish his coffee and we left and they touched on the back and the chest again and I asked Joe in the trek, was Rita not his wife? Joe said, no, brother, no, no. And I said, was that lady your wife, Joe? And he said, Charlene, brother, she's a good woman, but no, she ain't my wife, brother. Joe asked me, do I have a girl back home? And I told him, no. No, no, no. Joe has one of the 2 cars that still runs okay out at the rock. He has a truck. It's red, but a lot of brown at the edges, and it looks like a ghost car, like a goat's head that has been dead too long. And the lips are gone. I pull pieces of paint off when he's not looking. Joe stays in his house in the summer and doesn't walk into all the houses like I walk into places. Joe knocks before walking in and says, how's it going, Rita, or whoever, and Rita says, hey, Joe. Then Joe walks in. Mommy is my grandma, and in the summertime I go to her. My grandpa is Arnold, and my other grandpa he's Toe, like Joe but T. Rita is not Joe's wife. Mommy stays mostly in one of the 3 houses on the square that face the sun in the morning. I wake up and she's never sleeping. When I go to bed too, she's awake. I think Mommy doesn't sleep anymore. Mommy moves slow. She says it's the heat that makes things take longer. It's true. The day doesn't end up on the rock. Mommy sweeps the ground around her front doors. I told my mother Mommy sweeps at the ground just past her front doors facing east and that Mommy doesn't sleep. Arnold mostly stays in a house on the edge of a rock, farthest from the square. His house was pulled up the road before I ever came up. He calls it a house, but really it's a trailer, and my mother tells me not to say trailer, so... Arnold says there wasn't a road before I started coming for the summer. And Arnold told me before I started coming, before his house was pulled up the road, before there was ever a road, Arnold says it was just a rock in the sky, and he and Toe and Mommy all would stay up high on the rock, and they had to climb down its edges and walk to town because there was only one car at the bottom of the rock, and it didn't work most times. But that was a long time ago, and when Arnold and Toe and Mommy had houses of their own, before Arnold's house was pulled up, no way Arnold or Toe could climb the rock now. Maybe Mommy. I don't think so, but she always does what I think she can't. She climbs trees. Cheetah was Rita's dog, but everyone lets Cheetah into the houses and gives him food. I throw Cheetah crust for my sandwich, and when Mommy makes soup, I throw him bones and pieces of carrot because I don't like carrots. Once Cheetah got stuck up in the well tree. The well tree is the only tree on the rock, and 2 summers ago it stopped having leaves. Cheetah is clever, and I know so because how else could a dog climb a tree? There are only old people left on the rock, and they all came around the tree because I heard Cheetah barking. I know Joe doesn't hear much because I say a lot of things 2 times. And a lot of people on the rock I have to yell at, so I ran around the houses yelling. Everyone walked to the well tree, and there was Cheetah up in the tree. I can climb 2 trees in the park next to my cousin's house, and everyone knows they are the easy trees, so I just stared at Cheetah with everyone else who couldn't climb the well tree. And then Mommy started grabbing at her skirt and pulling it up to her waist and twisted it so it stuck up there. My Mommy's legs are like sticks in elephant skin. She pulled her skirt up and started climbing the tree so everyone could see her underwear, and no one looked away, so I didn't either. She got Cheetah down and threw him to Toe, who is slow but he's strong. When Joe comes back up the road with barrels of water on Fridays, Toe doesn't need any. When Toe comes back up the road with barrels of water on Fridays, Toe doesn't need any help to carry them, but he's slow. The well holds rainwater, but I think maybe this summer it will be empty again. It's not a well, but my mother said not to say that. It's a dent in the ground like a pond, but smaller than a pond. It's a big puddle in mud. So Joe goes into town and brings back barrels for the week in his red, dead goat truck. We eat goats mostly. We eat mostly goats. We mostly eat goats.